Alrighty, Paws Up Podcast episode 42. I am here with my co-host Jake Gibson, Jonathan Mayer, and we have a very special guest. We have Nicole Frank from FIU Swimming. Nicole, thank you for the time and welcome to the Paws Up Podcast.
Hi, thank you for inviting me.
Nicole, I want to start just when did you first kind of fall in love with swimming? When did you kind of start swimming competitively?
So I started swimming well, I don't have a clear memory of when that was, honestly. I've been involved with sports my whole life. My mom is like a physical education teacher. So she will put me and my brother in sports since we were really young. I started with swimming and art gymnastics at first, and then I had to decide in between because practices were like at the same time and like competitions and stuff. So I decided to go for swimming, as you guys can see. And yeah, I love swimming. It's just it gets me out of my problems. It's like a different word for me, and it's just my peace in life right now.
Growing up in Uruguay, it's a country that just so happens to have a really big coastline, big fascination with water. I'm curious about how serious that they take competitive swimming there, and from your time there, breaking records, of course. Just how they take swimming? How does it compare to what you've seen in the United States, and how they care for swimming?
Well, comparing how they see, I'll say swimming just because it's my sport, but it could be like with any like minor sports in general. Like we're not gonna talk about soccer because soccer in South America and like country is a big thing.
Right.
But like they give support, but it's compared to the United States, it's not as much. I feel here any sport is like important. They give a lot of attention and they give a lot of support. At home, when it's like smaller sports like swimming or I don't know, any other sport that is like not known as much.
Mhm.
They don't have like as much support, but like at least the social media or people that does like interviews, they always try to help and they try to like support athletes as much as they can. So I think that's a really good thing that we have at home. But yeah, like the support side, like for example, money to travel or stuff like that. If you're on the top of your sport, you're definitely gonna have that. But if you're like just starting or at the bottom, it's probably gonna come out of your pocket at the beginning.
I know you've been swimming, for different championships in your youth, but what made you decide to come over to the States and want to, compete from a collegiate level in swimming?
So I came here for the first time. Yesterday was 4 years ago, actually.
Oh, wow.
Oh
Uh,
wow, congrats.
in 2019 December, I was 16 years old because I got a scholarship to train here. It was supposed to be for like a year or like 9 months, but then COVID hit it, so I had to like choose if I wanted to stay here, if I wanted to go home. And this whole thing for like Olympics was happening at the moment, so I decided to stay and keep training here. I just thought like it would be the best option, and my parents were super supportive. They were like, "It's your choice, it's your life. You had to choose what is better for your goals and your future." So I stayed, and then if I was gonna stay for longer than a year, because my scholarship got like renewed, I had to like finish high school somehow because I came without like finishing high school. So I finished high school, and then I started looking for college. I thought it would be a good idea to continue swimming here because I knew that the level here is at least better than at home, and I have more space, more opportunities to like get better. So I started looking for colleges, and I saw FIU, and I fell in love with it right away. So I contacted the coaches, and they replied right away, and then here we are.
So as you just mentioned, you get to FIU in 2021. What's stood about the campus? And obviously, you guys practice at Biscayne Bay. So what's stood about them, the facilities, and just what made FIU such an attractive destination for you to come here and spend a couple of years?
So I'm just a sophomore, so this will be like my second year.
Mhm.
But I came to visit my recruiting trip in 2021, like October, I think. And I had like a little recruiting trip for like I think it was like 2 days,
Mhm.
and I just saw the group of people, and I thought it was amazing how like, of course, there's like everyone has their issues, everyone has their life and their problems, but like when it's like coming to the team, everyone is like super supportive, and we love each other, and we're always there for each other if we need like support or something. So I think that was the first thing that caught my eye, because I was looking for a group that would make me feel like at home, and that would make me feel like I have another family here. And then I think just the campus and everything was just amazing. Like I've been here since I arrived, and I have some family will stay here, and also my host family from before. So I thought it would be like a good idea to stay here. We go to Biscayne Bay on Saturdays to train. I love the pool, and I think we just have a really amazing environment in athletics. So that helps a lot.
Yeah, so of course, Miami is a city that's absolutely rooted in Hispanic culture, right? It comes to language, food, architecture, etc. And FIU happens to have, a large student body that is Hispanic people. So, when you first step foot in FIU, we're meeting people, your teammates and whatnot. Just how much did the fact that Miami is that kind of city, did it help you get used to living to living here long term and going to classes, just going everywhere here in Miami?
Yeah, well, when I first arrived here, I didn't speak English at all.
Okay.
I learned when I started high school, but it was easier just because of that. I got a lot of friends that they will speak Spanish, and it would be easier for me to like get used to the classes. If I needed help, they will help me. It's funny. One of the girls that I have from high school, that she's my friend, she's in women's soccer team, and we're still friends. We see each other once in a while, and yeah, like I think the fact that there's a lot of Hispanic culture here, it helps a lot for me, and any, I guess, any other like Hispanic person will help a lot, because even if I in the team we all speak English. Like I think there's only one girl like adding me that speaks Spanish in the team, then we have the rule that we are not supposed to speak in our native language to the other people, that we're always going to speak English. So I think going outside, like I don't know, to a store or something, helps a lot to find someone that will speak Spanish to like feel more at home.
So obviously you come here to FIU, and this is arguably maybe the best team the best athletic program at FIU, and a lot of swimmers have come this way, and one of them is obviously Kelsey Campbell. And just what was it like learning from her in your freshman year, and what did you take away from maybe her routine or any advice that she gave you?
I think that learning from people like Kelsey, for example, is a really good thing, mostly for like freshmen and sophomores, that are like the youngest generations of the team, we'll say. It's really nice to learn from them. I think Kelsey last year was such a mentor for all of us. I mean, she was in the team for like 6 years before I came, so it was a really long time. She had a lot of experience in a lot of things, and I think like each of us can apport something different, like can add something different to the team for all of us to learn and grow in somehow, like some way. It could be either at practice or just life experience advice. So I think that's really, really good.
And one thing, obviously we had Coach Horner a couple of months ago over the summer, and obviously a legend here at FIU. And what is it like being part of this coaching staff? Obviously, they have built, a dynasty here that you're a part of. So what is it like learning from them, and being able to be part of the culture that they're just trying to keep on building here over years to come?
Yeah, it's funny because today we were just talking about it, that he was in this podcast before. But yeah, I think our coaching stuff is just amazing. There are always, it's not only a support that is athletically, like it's not only in the pool or the gym, it's also personally. I think they're always there for us, and it's something that it helps, if you want it or not, because being in college is fun, but it also has its responsibilities, and sometimes we get really stressed out with like finals or school or any other responsibility that we could have. So I think they really help us in that way, and being understanding and pushing us also to get to our goals, and the team goals is one of the most important things too. So I think that's amazing.
So let's talk a little about last year, your freshman year. Obviously, made some strides. What are things that maybe you learned in your freshman year, meet season specifically, and things that you took away, as you kind of got ready for the conference championships last year?
Yeah, I think last year was such a roller coaster. I started the year without really being able to compete because some NCAA papers, and that was kind of a down moment for me. But then after that, everything started like going better and better. I had a little hip problem, but then we figured it out. So that was amazing. And yeah, I think I just learned that like I think patience mostly. Just trusting the process a little bit and communicating too. I feel I'm someone that is pretty reserved with her, like my own problems, and I'm not someone that will like usually go out for help when I need it. Like I will try to figure it out by myself first. So I think that's something that I learned last year that really helped me this year to go through like school or personal life or even swimming. Sometimes I get really stressed out. So I think last year it was a lot of growth for me and a lot of things that made me like maybe mature a little bit more and see things in a different way.
By the way, I had to go and check our episode with Coach Horner. That was episode 24. It was back in June 14th. That was a long time ago. But shout out Coach Horner, an absolute goat, man. But yeah, so it turned out that that was the start of an amazing freshman year for you, right? You won a bunch of competitions that you took part in, including I believe a 200 individual medley again in that Liberty meet back in October. So, you know, I want to know, and not to mention the 200-meter medley at the CSCAA Invitational, right? So, you know, out of all those events you took part in, what would you say off the top of your head was your favorite event that you won, based on not just how well you did, but also just the impact of the event itself?
Yeah. Well, that's an easy question actually. A conference
Okay.
last year. The first day we had the 200 individual medley, and I won the event, and I did a best time, but I got disqualified. That night was really tough. I finished my race. I did not know that I was disqualified until like Coach Horner came up to me and he like I didn't even finish going to like the rest of the team. I was literally right next to the blocks. He comes up to me, he goes like, "Yeah, well, so you got disqualified." And I started crying. But I was crying so bad, like my eyes were like hurting horrible. I hated it. And he started saying like, "Yeah, I mean it's not your fault. Like I think you did a really it was something about my start." So that night I was really sad. I was really angry too because I just thought it was kind of unfair. So the next day I had the 400 IM, and that's one of my main races too. And I needed to like step back in the like in my like how I was mentally the first day. Like I needed to be strong again and come back and be resilient. And so I went to the race in the morning. I did a good race. I still had finals. And in the afternoon, I remember Coach Horner, he was just like, "You go do you. Like, you know how to do it. Just go and do what you have to do." And that night I won. I got a best time and I did a freshman record, I think. So I think that would be my favorite race because of the comeback the next day and like being able to go over and just do a good race anyways.
I guess if you could share a little bit, why did they issue the disqualification for you that day?
So apparently they said that I moved on the block. Like when I did the start, you're supposed to like be still like until the little beep goes off.
Oh.
And apparently they said that I moved a little bit and then I started. So they're gonna disqualify me because it's an early start, they will call it. And yeah, we try to like show a video and show that I didn't like move, that I was like all right, but nothing worked. So I mean, we just accepted it. It was like, okay, I guess it's a sign. I need to learn from something. So
Well, all of this to say that you still ended up winning the AAC Freshman of the Year award, which, you know, it's an amazing achievement. So we got to know, when did you first know that you won it? Like who told you initially that you won the award? And just got to know, what was that celebration like, man?
yeah, so that was the last day of the meet. They do all of these awards the last day of the meet. And I remember that right before that, we had like a kind of chat with the whole team, the coaches and everyone. And we got second place, of course, by nothing. But at the moment, I was kind of like blaming myself because of the 200, because I knew that if I did not got disqualified for the 200, we will be first and we will won and everything. So I was like kind of blaming myself, but I wasn't telling anyone. But I was like, I started crying again. And I remember Christy Chewy, one of our teammates, and a few more that I remember everyone because I was crying a lot. They were like, "It's not your fault. Like you need to remember that like this is a team. It's not only you." So yeah, after that, coach came up to me and he said, "Oh, they're calling you because apparently they're gonna give some awards and like your name is in one of them." But I didn't know what it was. Like I just went and I just sat there for a little bit to wait for them to call my name. And then I don't know where they said, "Oh, freshman of the year," and I was like, "Oh, what?" Like I was kind of confused at first, but then of course I was super happy because I was not expecting that. And then when I came back, yeah, everyone was like, "Oh yeah, congratulations!" They were all like celebrating and stuff. And yeah, and then I remember Coach Horner and Brian. They said that like it was an honor to have that because like it was a really tough competition, mostly for the first day. And apparently that award is like both for all of the coaches of like the conference. So it was like something that all of the coaches or most of the coaches decided to like choose me, and it happened. So I think it was like such an honor, and I was really really happy.
That was a whirlwind of a week for sure. I can imagine
Yeah,
just all
yeah, it
going on.
was.
But now I want to know. Obviously, we're into this year, or mid-season, December. We meet this week. Just talk a little about you. You've had a really, really good so far mid-season. You were able to get a zone B cut in the mid-season in Purdue, or I'm sorry, not Purdue, Missouri. And just what are some things that you've liked about your season thus far as you kind of gear ahead to another conference championship time and hopefully trying to get that quest for one in February?
Yeah, I think this year so far has been like kind of a roller coaster too, but it's more like personally. But mid season was amazing. I was with not expectations. If you talk to the coaches or even break, if you talk to Gabe, our athletic trainer, they will tell you that 2 weeks before mid season I was sick. I had like bronchitis. I couldn't breathe. I was like doing easy stuff at the pool because I needed to recover and my body was not recovering. So I went to mid season with no expectations. I just went like, okay, I'm gonna go do this and see how it goes and see how things are gonna go. And it actually was a really like pretty good meet. I think I was not like 100% satisfied with my results, but just because I'm really hard on myself. But like taking that I was sick before going, I think it was an amazing meet. I got really close to my best times. So yeah, and I think the whole team enjoyed a lot the meet. We were new at this meet. Our meet season before was Purdue, so I think all of us were having a lot of fun and enjoying a lot.
Yeah, you got third place.
Yeah, exactly. That was
Not
really
bad,
fun.
not bad. Kevin, is it time for a break?
Let's do it.
All right. I think it is time for a very quick news break. Your look at all things FIU athletics and just FIU in general. So let's start things off with baseball. FIU earlier today, they released their 2024 baseball schedule, and it contains a bunch of exciting matchups, both in the conference USA lineup and without the non-conference matchups as well. This includes opponents such as Notre Dame, Iowa, Florida Gulf Coast, and the rivals from Boca Raton, FAU, along with a 4-game series both in March and May against the Miami Hurricanes. So I won't say too much more about it now because you all can read more about it on Kevin's article that he wrote on the Paws Up page covering everything you need to know about it. So let's move on then to men's basketball. Of course, FIU guard Arturo Dean coming off a bunch of awards for how he started off this season. He and the Panthers are set to take on the nationally ranked FAU Owls tomorrow at 7 p.m. That game is in Boca Raton and can be seen on ESPN+. This will be FIU's second time taking on a ranked opponent this year, as the Panthers lost a close game against the Miami Hurricanes at the Watsco Center not that long ago. FAU is, of course, coming off a Final Four appearance last year, and FIU is looking to bounce back following some time off. So, of course, best of luck to the men's basketball team. Finally, here's a feel-good story. Former FIU linebacker and NFL athlete Antoine Barnes recently returned to FIU and completed his degree, graduating yesterday. Barnes played for FIU, again as linebacker, in the mid-2000s and was the first ever Panther to be drafted by an NFL team in 2007 when he was selected by the Baltimore Ravens. He then played for the Philadelphia Eagles, San Diego Chargers, and the New York Jets in his career. So congrats to Barnes for that achievement. So, okay, Nikki, let's talk about the Olympics. This is exciting. This is what I've really been wanting to talk about, man. The Tokyo Olympics in not 2020 but 2021. In July, I want to say mid-July of that year, ESPN they ran a great story about your grandmother and how she inadvertently convinced you to pursue swimming through her stories of almost competing in the Olympics, I believe in 1940. It was a great read. I suggest everyone out there who's watching, go check that out. It's a great story. So I just want to know, what was it like to share this story with ESPN back then? And now that the Tokyo Olympics have passed, how much do you still reflect on that?
Yeah. So the Olympics was is I can't describe how it feels. Like it's just crazy because I feel like I'm still young, but like I was even younger than I am now, and like I don't want to say I was just a little girl, but like technically I was the youngest girl in my team, and I remember I got that ESPN interview. I think it was like right before I traveled, or like a few days into the Olympics. Like I got to the village like a week early before my race. So I think on that week they did that interview, something like that. And I remember that the girl was super sweet. She was like doing the interview. She was asking a lot of questions, and just remembering that type of like things that like I'm not aware of 100% all the time. Like of course I have it in the back of my mind, and it's something that marks me and that like puts my path and marks my path for the future. But I think it's just amazing to think that that story is real. Like what of a coincidence that happened, you know, like I feel that doesn't happen every day. And I think it's just amazing that it's a part of my family, you know, like my brother, he used to swim before too. And my whole family has been into sports somehow. Either could be gymnastics like my mom, or volleyball or basketball. So I think it's really cool to think that it's not only like me, like it's my whole family. It's something like cultural for us. And it's amazing like how that story got to so many people, because even like today, that interview was like 2 years ago ish, and even today there's a lot of people that sometimes texts me about it, and I think it's really cool that it's doing an impact not only in me, you know, like but only in other people that is like watching it or reading it.
You were at an Olympics that were like no other. Obviously, it was right during COVID. You had to travel to Tokyo. You had to stay in there. You had to quarantine. Just talk to us about that experience and how different that atmosphere was. Given I believe there were no fans during that time, and it was crazy. It was just really crazy. Not all these restrictions you guys had to go through.
Yeah, we had a lot of restrictions. Honestly, that's very true. We had to do like COVID test every like 2 days or every day. We had to do a COVID test the day that we had to race or compete. But the good thing is that it wasn't like in our mouth. It was like through saliva, so you wouldn't go through that suffering every day or every 2 days. So that was pretty good. They will only do that if they were like, I don't know, for some reason you were in contact with someone that had COVID. That maybe would do that with someone that was in contact. But then there was like a lot of restrictions. I remember the dining hall had like a little plastic thing to separate like seats.
Wow.
There was not fans, like it was totally empty. Like at the stadiums, it was only athletes. uh we will have to use a mask all the time unless we were outside. Maybe they wouldn't say anything, but sometimes you will see like a policeman or something that will tell you just to put it on again. But yeah, I think even if there was a lot of restrictions because of COVID, I think we all had fun and we all could enjoy a lot. I had a really big group of friends over there because where I was training before, that was here in the US, we qualified like 12 people, I think. So like we had a big group of friends over there, so we would spend a lot of time together, all of us from different countries, so that was really fun too. And at the moment of competing, I think the stadium of the pool, it was totally empty. It was only athletes. So I feel the pressure from like competing was a little less, just because you would not see a bunch of people inside. But I feel at the same time it was like not boring, but like it loses a little bit of its like energy and magic, you know, like you're going to represent your country in front of all of these people, and they're not there. They're all watching through the phone or the TV. But I think either way, it was really fun, and it's a unique experience anyway. So it was really nice.
And I was reading the article. It said that you were targeted for this upcoming year's Olympics, but you are able to compete in 2021. Obviously, now we're months away from one in Paris. Now having that experience of competing in that Olympic stage, 2 years ago? What is it like now as you prepare to try to go back there, in 2024?
I think the experience from 2021 gave me I learned a lot from it. So now I feel a little bit more prepared for what it's coming. I know how the processes, I know how things are, how things work. So I'm not that nervous or anxious to oh, how's this gonna go, or how's this gonna work. So I think that helps me a lot. I don't feel as anxious as I was before. Of course, I'm not nervous, but trying to work for it, trying to get the work done to get it, and trying to plan everything accordingly so I have everything good and in my table to see what are my options. But I think it's just it was a really good experience for me to learn and have it now to know how things are supposed to go.
All right, so we're just about to wrap up here, but very quickly, we're going to go through a couple rapid fire questions, and I'll start real quick. Who is the funniest teammate that you have right now?
Funniest teammate. Oh, that's hard. I would say, because she cracks me up all the time, I'll say Jordan Browning, because she's just really funny. I think John would know. She knows how to make people laugh and make them smile really easily.
No, for sure. I gotta know. This is probably a hard one. Who's getting the aux cord on the team? Who's not getting the aux cord on the team?
Oh, well, we have a new rule about that. Because
cool.
So we are not allowed to put any explicit music in the aux, because we during the week we train in a public pool, so usually there are kids and stuff like that. You don't want to be listening to things that they shouldn't be listening to. So right now it's usually Ryan Flynn. She's one of the captains from the team. But it's a playlist that all of us put songs. We will send her songs, and of course we will be careful with what it says. But then if that rule wasn't on the team, I think it would be Emma Becker, or last year would be a lot Ellie Murren. She would put a lot of music last year. So yeah.
Who was the worst though? Who has not a good taste in music?
I don't know. I think all of us have a very different taste of music.
Yeah.
I don't think it's someone has a bad taste of music. It's just all of us listen to different types of music.
Okay. How about you? What's on your playlist?
Well, so I love Justin Bieber. If you guys,
Justin Bieber.
Right.
40,000 minutes
since I have memory. So yeah. I listen to a lot of pop. I like rap, but I don't listen to it too often. And of course, Hispanic music. That's just a vibe. It's just a vibe. So, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. All right, we asked this to Coach Horner, so I want to ask you as well. In your opinion, who is the greatest swimmer of all time?
Oh, of all times? I mean, that's a common question. A lot of people will say Michael Phelps.
That's what Coach Horner said. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people say that it's Michael Phelps, but if we're counting also people from now, that's a hard question. I really like Katie Ledecky. I like her a lot. She's a really good athlete, and I think she's one of not mentors, because I don't know her, but I follow her a lot, and I like a lot of the things that she does. So I would say her too.
What's your favorite spot to hang out on campus, and then just favorite food spot on campus?
Ooh, favorite spot to hang out.
There's a lot of spots.
Yeah. I would say my room, but I can't count my room as a spot. So I think I would say the library, maybe. Last semester I used to go a lot to study and do homework. This semester I didn't have much time, so I did not went as often. But I think the library, I like it a lot. And favorite spot to go for food, I love tropical smoothie.
That's the answer.
And I think my top 3 would be, I don't know which one would be the best one, but it would be the tropical smoothie, Panda, or Panera.
There we go.
All good choices.
Yeah.
Great choices.
Speaking of food, I want to talk about where you're from, Uruguay. What are some dishes that people should know about, or recommend from you?
Well, we love barbecue, so but our barbecue is not like the barbecues here. Here you use barbecue sauce and stuff like that. Usually we don't. We just put the meat on to cook, and then you usually eat that with rice or a salad. We usually will snack something before that. We will have a little chit chat before that with the family or friends. We have empanadas. We love them too.
There we go.
There's this thing that we do that is, well, I guess maybe you know what churros are, or maybe not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that plus, I'm gonna say this in Spanish because there's no way I can say this in English. It's called torta fritas. That I don't know how to explain what it is, but it's really, really good. And we usually eat them during the winter because you usually eat them when it's like really they have to be hot, so you eat them in winter. So I think those would be the best things. And mate, that's a drink that we take everywhere. You'll see us always with like a little thing, like a little bottle and a little cup going
Oh, that's
everywhere.
like a Messi. That's like I remember Messi had that.
Yes,
That's what Messi-
it's the same thing. It's literally the same thing.
Have you found any restaurants near campus that specialize in Uruguay food?
Not really. There's this place that is in like I think it's International Mall that is like 15 minutes away from here ish. But it's like an Argentinian place of food, but we eat like kind of the same. Our cultures are really similar. So I went there a few times, and then there's this other place that I haven't went there, but one of my teammates she saw it in Hollywood, and it's like a Uruguayan place. Like I follow it on Instagram and everything because I want to go see it and check it out. That apparently looks like it's really good and it's like original food or something like that. So I'll go try that out someday.
Good to know. Good to know. All right. We always ask this to every athlete, but if you had to pick the next member of the swimming or diving team that we need to get on this show, who would it be?
Interesting. I'm gonna think of I think you should go for. That's a hard question, actually.
There's a lot of
Yeah, because I think like all of them will like have a good, like something good to share with people. So I think like maybe Umi Diop. She's been to a lot of like, meets like me. She's going for the Olympics too. Maybe also I'll say Mari Anderson. She's really funny. She will have a lot of stories to tell. I don't know if she likes to have interviews, but I think it would be really funny to see her talking about her life and stuff.
We'll find a way to make it work. But all right. Again, we always do this with athletes, coaches as well. But as we start to wrap up here, again, Nikki, thank you so much for being on the show. You've been an amazing guest. We always love talking to the swimming team. It was fun talking to Horner. It was fun talking to you too. The floor is now yours. If you have anything you want to say to the fans of swimming, your teammates, anyone in general, you may go now.
Well, first, thank you guys for inviting me. I think it's amazing that you guys are trying to support athletes and like give them a little space to tell like maybe their stories and like their life. And I don't know, I don't know, maybe thank you to everyone, mostly to my team because I love my team. Go see us this Friday. We have a little meet at BBC. But yeah, I think just thank you for all of the support and for watching, and yeah, just thank you.
Alrighty, and with that being said, we'll wrap it up here with Jake, Johnny. We have Nicole, myself, Kevin. We'll see you guys all on Thursday. We have a very fun episode, very different episode, but should be a good one. We'll be talking about the NIL. We'll talk a little NIL, Blue Collective NIL. We'll bring on the man behind it. I believe his name is Adam, and we'll have him on Thursday.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, as always, paws up.
Paws up.